my name's Amanda, and this is my vlog, Sweet Skein of Mine. It's where I talk about my knitting projects that I've completed, dream knitting. I'm also the indie dyer behind Sweet Skein of Mine. And sometimes there's cooking and little visits to breweries as well. It's Friday, October the 27th. I have not done this in a very long time. Summer just kind of came and went, and then the fall has been so busy getting my advents out there. Thank you to everybody who got one. I'm so excited. I won't be doing them next year. I told you I'm moving next year. I'm still going to get some dyeing in. But as for the advents, they're so much work. I'm so happy it's over. I was saying to Dan, it's like, oh, the hump of getting them dyed and then twisted and then packaged and then, boxing them up, making sure everybody's got 1 to 24. Anyway, so I'm so happy they're gone. They're out the door. I'm pretty sure most of you have received them. So thank you again. So the fall's been busy. I think the last time I did a vlog was just popping up my trip to Ireland, and that was a ball. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. We went to Ireland with our best friends to celebrate my 50th. So yeah, it was wonderful. First trip without the kids, and I mean like big trip. So I did get another vacation in August with my 2 kids, Alex and Sarah, and Dan. We went to Spain and got to Italy. I didn't vlog for that, just enjoying the moment, and it was busy. So other than that, yeah, so I just wanted to get back on and kind of get back into the swing of things. It kind of takes a lot to build up my mojo to want to do this. I get shy all over again, which is, but I'm gonna get the mojo going because I'm gonna do Vlogmas again. I had a lot of fun doing that, and it's funny, the feedback on that was everybody loved getting recipes, and I totally get that because sometimes I just will call a girlfriend, what are you making for supper? Just your brain can't hit a new recipe idea. You get stuck in doing the same old thing. So it's fun to share it with you, and I'm glad that everybody enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm going to do Vlogmas again and get used to vlogging. So I thought, you know what? I just got back from Rhinebeck on Monday, and so I thought I'd pop in and share my Rhinebeck weekend. So we left on Thursday morning, and we have like about an 8.5 hour drive to where like the whole Rhinebeck festivities take place. But we broke it up. We drove 4 hours, and I went with 2 of my dearest friends, Michelle and June. Hi, girls. We had a blast. We were in really good company with each other. We were all kind of on the same wavelength with how we wanted to deal with food and breaking up the trip and what we wanted to see. So right off the bat, it started out so positive. We stopped and had just some fun little shopping stops at TJ Maxx and Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, just little pit stops. And then we got to Springfield and spent the night. By supper time, we ordered pizza, had our jammies on, watched The Bachelor, and got to bed early. We were only about, I think, an hour and a half from the first event that we went to. So Rhinebeck, the actual Sheep and Wool Festival, takes place in Rhinebeck at the Duchess Fairgrounds. But there's always, a couple of like little satellite events that take place the day before. There's India Untangled, Cakepalooza, Woolen Folk. I'm not sure if there's anything else. We decided to do Cakepalooza and Woolen Folk. So we headed to Saugerties, and that was our first stop on Friday for Cakepalooza. And it was rainy out, but you know what? I didn't really care about the rain. We had looked at the weather beforehand and knew what we were kind of going to experience. So we had our umbrellas and raincoats, but I was just like, oh, it just sucks because you're not going to see as much knitwear because you did have to cover up. And most importantly, I felt for the vendors. I was like, oh my goodness, having wool. Any festival I've taken place that I've taken part with, you know, some of them have, you know, an option to be inside or outside, and I've always chose inside, even if it's a beautiful day, because if it rains, I've got wool. And how do you deal with hundreds of skeins of wet wool, you know, to dry them all out and take the packaging off? And anyway, so knowing that this was an outdoor event, I immediately really was feeling for the vendors. But they were all set up great. Cakepalooza was so well run. Alicia, who's the dyer behind Cake Yarn, does this event in her parking lot. So it's all paved. You know, I talked to a couple of the vendors, and it was funny because they said, yeah, you know, it was a bit of a shit show initially, you know, making sure the air vents were even taped up that they forgot about inside their tents. So, you know, a little bit of a scuffle beforehand, but I think it turned out really well. Right off the bat, I get to say hi to Jessie and Kitty. You know, I was just excited to be there. And anyway, so I'll do a little bit of a haul to show you what I bought. I made a quick beeline for Christina at Chelsea Yarns because I knew her tent would be crazy, and it was. So I get to, you know, give her a quick hello, and I grabbed a couple of skeins of yarn. So I consider this my souvenir yarn of the weekend. I got a sock yarn and a mohair. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but I think they could be a beautiful scarf held together. The colorway's Akatar. So Akatar is from a series that she's reading right now, and I'm not reading it, but I needed some souvenir yarn, and it's pink, so I grabbed it. And Little Miss Knits, Macy was standing there helping her out, which I'm sure Christina was so happy for because it was so busy. And she was bagging everything, and we got these sweet plastic bags. I love them, and it's pink. So that was my first purchase. Make room and throw things on the floor. After that, I was so excited because Tanny Casey was there. If you've watched my videos before, you know I'm a huge fan of her project bags. They're just so well made. I especially love her extra large ones that have, you know, the canvas or wax canvas bottom, and they zip at the top. I have numerous of hers. You probably can't see. They're all kind of stacked there. So I'm more of a sweater knitter and a blanket knitter, you know, so I tend to like a bigger bag. And even when I'm not using it for a project, I like to store my yarn for future projects that I buy together. So I do like a big bag. Anyway, she had so many things. First, it was great to say hi to her and give her a hug because I just think Tanny Casey she's just positive and makes beautiful things. And anyway, I think a lot of her. So I was excited to run to her booth and making a choice. Well, Michelle, June, and I went in, and we really were like, where do you begin to pick one bag? We kept flipping through them. The girls finally found one, and I just couldn't make up my mind. So, and then I came to this one, and I was like, oh, well, my maiden name is Fox. So June said, well, I think it's a no-brainer then. This is like the bag that you need to get. So I get this beautiful bag. It's got the leather handle, the zip top. You know, her bags are just gorgeous. So I was excited to grab a bag. No, I didn't need another one, but I have another one. So I got that. Then Tuft Woolens was there, so I grabbed some apple cider wool wash and the chai spice hand balm. I love this smell. It smells so good. And I got a couple of other little things, but I put them away for Christmas presents. So I got those. Then I walked by Fashion School Dropout's booth. It was beautiful. I'm so happy to finally meet her. She's a doll. Her yarn was gorgeous. This was like hanging up there, and I decided I needed it. So this is called Backstage DK, 100% superwash Punta Arenas merino wool, and the colorway is called Shearling. So it's this beautiful mustardy, goldeny brown toffee. I don't know. I'm obsessed with this color right now. So I grabbed this to make a hat, and then I walked by her booth, Vita, I'll put it on. Anyway, she's sweet. She had so many things to pick from, but she had these pom-poms. And I was like, oh, I'm going to grab that and use it as the pom-pom for the wool that I just bought. So I get that. And then, so like just to backtrack, I took part in the PEI Fiber Festival. Great experience. I should actually talk more on that. I will in another vlog and show you what I got there too. But great experience as a vendor. I had a minute to walk around. I kind of had my heart set on finding, I know I'm not saying it right, the Luca needles, the blush interchangeable needle set, the bigger ones. I have the smaller ones. So they weren't there at that PEI Fiber Festival, and I was kind of bummed out. So when I was at Cake walking around and I was paying for my Tuft woolens things, I could see in the booth behind me this kind of peeking in a little basket, and I'm like, oh my God, they have them. So rushed over, got the interchangeable blush Lika needle set. Anyway, this case is amazing. So I do have the thread and maple leather binder, but these are going to stay in this case. It's beautiful. You've got all your cords. Needle sizes are the bigger ones than I have. I have like the smaller up to, I think, a 5mm. Anyway, this is the larger set. So I was really, really excited to get my hands on these. So I was like, oh, it's meant to be. This is happening. So I got those. And then, yeah, what else? Highlights of cake wool. You know, just getting to say hi to some people and just seeing all the different yarns and walking around. Yeah, it rained, but the event was well run. You know, very important to have it in numbers. You know, we had the early morning tickets. So many people are allowed in. I didn't feel like it was over congested. I didn't feel, you know, I was still able to shop and see people. We had a great experience. And then we went to Woolen Folk. So without getting too much into Woolen Folk, if you've watched some vlogs, if you're watching this, you clearly like to watch knitting vlogs because there's much bigger people out there talking about this, and I'll let you get, you know, the fine details from there. But when we got there, it was kind of chaotic. You know, we headed into the main building. You know, again, I said to the girls, like, who cares about us? We've got raincoats. But like, I'm feeling for these vendors that are having to deal with rain right now. Like, how do you vend outside in the pouring rain without, I don't know, like a professional net, like some kind of professional tent? So anyway, I went inside and it was kind of bedlam. Like I couldn't even, I saw magpie fibers off in the corner. I couldn't even get there. There was like elbows and, you know, people with mobility problems, or I don't know, I think if people had anxiety, I don't think you'd do well there. Like it was a lot. So I get to say hi to Rebecca at Clinton Hill Cashmere. I didn't buy anything. I think we all kind of felt like, let's get out of this building. Like it was a lot. It was, yeah, you can get the fine details from everybody else. Truly wasn't safe. We went back outside, pouring rain. My friend June grabbed a skein of yarn and she bought it, and she was about to put it in her bag, and she got bumped into, and she dropped it. It landed in the mud. Thankfully, I had another one of these on hand. That night I washed her wool and we got it clean, but like mud. It was so muddy, and yeah, it was sad to see those conditions. We kind of got into another building that we didn't even know existed until somebody had said, have you gotten to Book House yet? We thought it was books and magazines. We were like asking, where do you get the books? And anyway, it was the name of the building. Well, it was also a brewery. So we went and kind of like had a beer, collected our thoughts. I got to meet Charlene and her cousin Crystal. That was such a happy moment. Hi girls, I love you guys. You guys were so much fun and so sweet. And so we just kind of, yeah, regrouped, got over to Lamb and Kid. What else? Yeah, and then we left. I mean, like I said, I think to conclude my thoughts on that, I really hope those vendors get their vendor fee back. I know apologies have been issued, and you can't do anything about weather. That's just, it is what it is. But it was messed up. So we left there just kind of like, oh, okay, well, we always thought this was going to be like a really good one and well organized. You hear all the hype, and I think last year was good, so I don't know. Anyway, it wasn't awful, but on our way out, I did grab some yarn there. So yeah, before I get talking too much, I feel like I'm rambling. I'll show the yarn that I did get there though, when we kind of said, okay, one more peek at things and let's head out. Sorry, I'm saying this was outside at this little tent, and I can't remember, I believe it was the Life in the Long Grass girls. They were Irish, and they had a ton of Irish yarn and magazines, and we got to stop and talk to them for a bit, and got looking at their yarn, and I grabbed these two skeins. So right now, this is my daughter's favorite green. It's like this tealy green, and it's Townhouse Yarns. So this is called the Clarendon Sock in Forest, and then I got the Abbey Lace Kid Mohair and colorway also Forest. So I'm going to hold these together, and I'm going to make my daughter a hat for Christmas. So I got this, and then I stopped at Botanical Yarns. They were there from the UK. Yeah, she didn't have a very good experience traveling all the way to the UK and vending in the conditions that she had. So when I got home, I was so relieved that I actually shopped from her. It just felt good. I only bought a couple of things, but to know that I did stop and get this mini set. So I always tend to grab a mini set, whatever festival I go to, and the colors in this were just so beautiful. So add this to my mini skein stash, and yeah, got some money to spend, and you want to peek at some of these vendors that were there. There was a lot of beautiful yarn. We're out in the parking lot. We're just about to leave, and there's this van, and it was called, I had to grab a card because it was pretty cool, Frogget Yarns. And so they had like a trailer kind of thing set up. I don't know if that's showing up or not. They had a trailer, and we decided to poke in just really quick before we left, and we saw all of this beautiful solid yarn. So I've never heard of it, but I mean, that's what going to these festivals is about, is finding out about some new yarns. So they had this yarn, it's Scout, and it's a DK yarn. Anyway, but the color, I don't know, I really hope this navy blue is showing up. It's gorgeous. So I grabbed two of those because I want to make another Sophie shawl. And I just got a trench coat, and the color is very, not khaki, but a real pretty beige. And I just think a Sophie shawl made in this navy blue will be gorgeous. Okay, so also these were only $18 a skein. So Michelle, June, and I were like, okay, let's grab a few because that's a really good price, and it was all beautiful. It was really hard to choose. So I did get the navy, and I got this color, this beigey brownie color. I think, oh, oatmeal heather Scout, and this one is, what was the color? Navy heather. And then two more, same thing in this Scout, this brown color, and it is called chestnut heather. So I think they're gorgeous. This is definitely going to be a Sophie shawl. I don't know what's going to happen with these yet, but anyway, really well priced yarn, and we were happy to have peeked in there. So after that, we went to, did we go out for supper? No, we went to our Airbnb, made supper, same thing, jammies on, knitting, just watch TV. It was yeah, it was a nice relaxing night. And then got up the next day, and we were kind of feeling a little tired just because it felt like go 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 until, you know, like the first 2 days. And then we were like, you know what, let's just take our time. So we kind of just stayed in our jammies for the morning. Didn't head to Rhinebeck until like 10, or I keep calling it Rhinebeck, but to the area Rhinebeck for the Sheep and Wool Festival. So we got there, I think, around 11. And yeah, like it was great. We walked the barns at the very top of the hill. We went inside. We went to, well, I didn't buy any yarn. We went to that booze tent place. I mean, I call it the booze tent. But I got some lotion. It's almond. It smells so good. And I showed it on my Instagram stories, just some olive oil and balsamic vinegar. There was a wood carver there. I got this rice paddle. I do have one skein of yarn from Gina. I ran into Gina from Skein Cocaine. She was with Leslie, friend. So that was fun to say a quick hello. Gina, hang in there with the empty nest. Like I told you, I get it. Like I now have an empty nest. And I mean, as I should. My kids are, well, not as I should, but my kids are 22 and almost 21. You know, when Sarah first moved out, it was awful. Like she would come for a visit. She would leave crying. I would be bawling. You know, then we get used to that. And then Alex seeing what I went through with Sarah leaving, you know, when he had to break the news to me that he was moving out. I was like, no, it's okay. And he, you know, he's like, are you sad? I'm like, I am. I said, but I think I'd be more sad if you guys didn't have a life, you know, like, so I have to keep turning it around to be positive that they're not going to be living in their mother's basement forever, which I would happily have, but we can't have that. So anyway, I get it, Gina. It's rough. Like, you know, I see them, but I miss their noise. I miss their company. You know, I've said it before. I really like my kids. They're great people. They're fun to be around. So I don't know. I think it's just getting used to. And I am still just getting used to it. It's weird. But anyway, Gina, thank you for the skein, because this is my Rhinebeck, the only Rhinebeck yarn I have. Anyway, we had a great day. It was so much fun. We got to the hill. I got to meet Meg. You know, so many highlights. I, bumped into Sandy. I met Sassy Karen. I met Evie at Cake. Who else? I was shocked at how many people came up to say hi, that they, ordered my yarn, or they've watched my vlog or Vlogmas. So that was a lot of fun for me, and it really made my heart happy. And it was so nice to put, faces to names. Jen, hi Jen, like just so many sweet people that, like, I don't know how to say it, because I get it. Like, I've gone up to people that you feel like you know them from their podcast, and I think, it takes a little extra to say hi to a stranger. So I appreciated it when you said hi. Like, I loved it. It meant a lot to me, to know that you loved my yarn or my scarf. Anyway, thank you, and so much fun. I had so much fun, and like I said, I was with great company, great girlfriends. We had a great time. It was the next day we drove to Freeport and spent the night to break up the drive, and then got home. And I'm telling you, the first couple of days that I was home, like, I was exhausted. That was like, it's a lot. I think it's just being with people, and I love my friends, but I'm also I am a bit of a loner. I love my quiet mornings and stuff, and coming home and just kind of regrouping and getting your energy tank refilled. So that was my Rhinebeck experience. It was positive. I'm very sorry about the Wool and Folk people, but yeah, if you want to know any more on the details and the craziness that went on there, there's lots of podcasts about it right now. So I'm going to move on and talk to you about what I wore to Cake and Wool and Folk. So I decided it's going to pour all weekend. it looked like it was going to rain harder on our Rhinebeck days, so I knew I was going to have a raincoat on. I wore my pink Sophie shawl. So I had a little pop of color with this black boot, black jacket combo. Anyway, on Friday, I wore a new finished object. So when I was at, where was I? Tatamagouche, the Fiber Festival. I did that this fall as well. Another great festival. Had so much fun. It's in Tatamagouche, Nova Scotia, put on by Sisterhood Fibers. One of the vendors, my friend Laura, she had on a sweater and I couldn't stop looking at it. So I was like, I need to know all the details. It's called the Clove. I'm going to put everything on the screen, by Rachel Kurihara. And she had it in this beautiful cream alpaca. It had just a gorgeous drape and everything. So I kind of, logged that in my head to make in the future. And then I had gone, I'm going to go grab some. My friend Megan, who has Lichen and Lace, she was vending there as well, and I saw this color on her table and fell in love with it. Decided to buy a sweater's quantity. It is ginger in her Rustic Heather Sport. It's 100% Canadian wool. It's rustic. It's gorgeous, and the colorway was just so beautiful. So I grabbed this. Decided to come home and dye some DK that I have on hand, but it's kid mohair DK. So I dyed up this, held them together, and made the Clove. So this is the sweater. I'm going to, I'll put in a little video of me with it on. It's just super warm right now, and this dress it's flannel, so anyway, it's top to bottom knit. You do the front panel, and then you do the back panel. Then you add your sleeves, add your collar, and then the bottom, I did a little high-low. So this is not on Ravelry yet with all my modifications, but I basically modified the whole sweater. Like, did my own sleeves. I think it called for DK. No, it called for sport weight yarn. So I had to go up a full needle size. I made the medium, full needle size up, and did my own sleeves, did my own ribbing at the bottom. I love this sweater so much. This is my new favorite knit. I've knit a lot. And sometimes you knit something and you're like, oh, I love it. Yep, gonna wear it all the time. And some things you're like, I knit it because I kind of jumped on the bandwagon to join everybody else that was kind of taking part in a certain knit. This sweater's warm. I'm already sweating just with it on my lap. So anyway, I finished this and I love it so much. So I wore this to Cake, and I was so happy. If you were one of the people that came up and said, I love your sweater, because I was like, thanks, I love it too. The color is gorgeous. I'm obsessed with this color right now, like my fashion school dropout yarn and the pom-pom I bought. Just love it. So when I have time, I'm going to get it photographed, and I'll get my mods on Ravelry. This is in my shop though. It's called Whiskey in the Jar, and it's DK mohair. So if you're interested in having any of this yarn, I have lots in my shop right now, and I can always dye more. So that was my latest finished object, the Clove sweater. It's beautiful. It's going to be something that I can just pull on. I could never wear it just as a sweater. It's got to be outdoors. It's super thick and warm and heavy, but it's gorgeous. So I was very, very happy to put all that work in and absolutely love it. And again, with the Lichen and Lace, ginger is the color. There. What what else to talk about. I have some things set aside to show you acquisitions, some knitting that's going to happen. Let's see, I'll make a little pile here and get to everything. So something else that we did on our way home I guess when we left New York and started to head towards Freeport, we stopped at Joann's because Leslie Friend, she has a podcast. I'm sure most of you know her. She is beautiful and everything she knits is beautiful. I think a lot of her. She has a pattern called Friend to Friend. So it's like a shrug, and she knit it in this Hue to Me. I think it's a Lion brand yarn. Is it? Two of Wands by Lion brand. Yeah, so chunky wool, 80% acrylic, 20% wool. So yes, I'm a yarn dyer and I have bulky yarn on hand, but 100% would be heavy. And I think if you look at this pattern, this shrug pattern, the idea is that it fits, you know, just kind of over your shoulders. It has a little neck on it, but it's light and fluffy. I think if I used my bulky yarn, it would be heavy and it would pull. So I really like the shape of this pattern, and I want to keep the shape of that pattern on without it being too much. So I grabbed this yarn, and see, this is the color I'm obsessed with right now. This goldy, mustardy. I love it. It's beautiful. So I'm going to make one for myself. I got enough yarn to make one for my mother-in-law, Barb. And yeah, and it was like $8 a skein. So if you have a Joann's handy to you, go grab this yarn and peek at this pattern, because I think it's something that anybody would love and it would fit anybody. So you don't have to kind of worry about guessing, you know, well, will it work after all this knitting? So we did grab that. I have a sock on the go. This was my knitting on our weekend away. It's a colorway that I did for myself and Michelle in June. I called it the Rhinebeck Jam. So jam was like for June, Amanda, and Michelle. And I just did like a pink and brown, and there's a little bit of gold in there. It's knitting up really pretty. So I've got a sock happening. What else? I'm not really that organized. I'm just trying to show everything that I have completely forgotten about. Something else that I am knitting on, or I want to knit, is at the PEI Fiber Festival, I grabbed this yarn. So this is called Green Gable Alpacas. And it's called the Royal Birch. It's their worsted yarn. Let's see, 80% alpaca, 20% merino. So I got 2 skeins of this. I love just a cream hat. So I'm going to make myself a hat, and the pattern I've chosen is an Espastrico pattern, the Getting Warmer hat. So that's future knitting. And by the way, I finally met Lisa and Melissa. So if you, like I said, if you watch podcasts, you know who Melissa and Lisa are. They're the former owners of Espastrico. I miss their podcast so much, but I was so happy to meet them. They are lovely, lovely ladies and just beautiful. It was fun. So yeah, that was one of my fangirl moments. But I'm going to knit her hat. This is, I think, a pattern by Melissa, but it's a free pattern and in this color. And it's all housed in my sweet project bag that was made for me by my friend Viv. So I've got that. And then in one of my favorite bags, Sandy by the Lakeside. It's like a medium-sized, the Monstera leaf. Oh, this is what I have set aside for. This is for another friend-to-friend shawl, but this color is going to be for my mother-in-law, Barb, for Christmas. So I have that. And lastly, oh, sorry, just hit the table. Acquisitions. So, ooh, it's gonna be crunchy. I don't know why people get upset about crunch. It's just crunch, but anyway. I ordered this beautiful yarn from my favorite girl, Jeannie. She's called the Fiber Jeannie. You know, we've only met through Instagram and have a great relationship. She is just sweet, and we've done some swaps, and I love her yarn. So check out the Fiber Jeannie, whether she's got beautiful roving dyed up or her yarn. And oh, she's just got a great eye for color, and I love her palettes. So this was called Wood Elf, and she had posted this. Maybe should I take it out? It's gonna be noisy. I've left it all packaged up, wanting to showcase this. And there, I'll get it out now so you can see it. It's so pretty. So it's got that color that I'm loving right now, that golden toffee. There's pink in there, some green. And the colorway, like I said, it's Wood Elf. So it's a slub and a mohair combo. I have 2 of them, and I have excuse me, a vest in mind. I think I inhaled mohair. So the Muse Tea by Amanda Solomon. I'm good. The Muse Tea, I think, is what I'm going to do with this. So that's an acquisition. Anyway, there won't be any cooking today because it's Friday. So Friday means hooking up with my bestie Jane. We're gonna go have a glass of wine, catch up, because it's been a few weeks that we've connected. So we have some catching up to do, and then we'll meet up with the boys later. And we both decided, let's order pizza. So we're gonna order pizza, and I'm gonna make a salad and use that yummy balsamic vinegar and oil that I got in Rhinebeck for the dressing. Okay, am I forgetting anything else? Well, depending on how long this is, maybe I'll take you along for happy hour. If not, if this has been long enough, sorry. Yeah, I will get back to you very soon. So again, hi to everybody that I ran into while I was away that actually watched this. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I feel like I've been talking really fast. Sorry. But I will definitely sneak in another one before I do Vlogmas. And yeah, okay. Well, happy Friday, everybody, or happy Saturday if that's by the time I get this uploaded and edited. I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.
Ran out my head, I let you go. Do it alone, won't let you know. I'm out in the night with someone new. It's not what I want, he's not you. At least it's something fun to do. Put on some makeup, yeah, for you. For your love, I volunteer. But tonight